too much. Here.
There we go. Well, let's see. We've had visitors again.
You have visitors again.
Hardly worth mentioning.
Hardly worth mentioning.
Okay.
Agreed. That's Buzz Aldrin and the other guy on the moon. On the moon. They were being followed the whole time. And that's them talking.
Do you believe in life on other planets?
Oh, yes. There's not much question at all.
Mitchell.
But there's life throughout the universe. We're not alone in the universe at all.
You're convinced that we're not alone in the universe?
Oh, I know for sure we're not alone in the universe.
This is the Anunnaki.
And I happen to be privileged enough to have be in on the fact that we have been visited on this planet. And the UFO phenomenon is real, although it's been covered up by our governments for quite a long time. It is a real phenomenon. And there's quite a few of us. It's been well covered up by all of our governments for the last 60 years or so. But slowly it's leaked out, and some of us are privileged to have been briefed on some of it. But I've also been in military circles and intelligence circles that knows beneath the surface of what has been public knowledge that, yes, we have been visited. So I've been deeply involved in certain committees and certain research programs with very credible scientists and very intelligence people that do know the real inside story, and I am not hesitant to talk about it. There's quite a bit of contact going on. We have been visited. The Roswell crash was real, and number of other contacts have been real and ongoing. It's pretty well known to those of us who have been briefed and been close to the subject matter. And that there's UFOs in the skies all the time that are very likely alien craft. Now, not all of them are. I suspect some of them are homegrown. I suspect that in the last 60 years or so that there has been some back engineering and the creation of this type of equipment, but it's not nearly as sophisticated yet as what the apparent visitors have.
An object which is in the same place all the time but appears to be tumbling. Always had it ever since yesterday. It just seems to be tagging along with us.
Seems to be tagging along with us. So anyways, I got kind of sidetracked there again, but this video is supposed to be about what I think about Anna Hayes, UFO Contactee. But that was it. That was the Anunnaki I was telling you about. That photo over there. Okay, so anyways, where was I? Yeah, so she says there's all kinds of aliens here. And she went into talking about the history of the universe. And, pretty crazy stuff, But like I said, people will tell you stories, and, some of it's real, some of it's not real. But one of the stories is real. Because we know the aliens are real, and if we know the aliens are real, we know they're going to tell their story, so one of the stories is real. Now, she talks about stuff that's really consistent with lots of other people, like I said before, but it's also consistent with the conspiracy theorists. And I did a video a couple weeks ago where I talk about New Age, like what's New Age, and it is actually, I said New Agers are into, aliens and God and science, kind of like, and all, Eastern religion, Western religion, reincarnation, kind of like bringing everything together. But I forgot to say that they're into conspiracy theories too. And I think a big thing that has to do with like New Agers is, they are into conspiracy theories. But it's kind of like something I didn't really want to think about, or I don't want to think about. Maybe that's because that's not what I considered a New Ager to be. Maybe I kind of, not just because she's talking about, like they were saying, like what's the deal with vaccinations? And she's like, well, they're trackers, they're to track you. And she talks about the Illuminati and all this stuff. So it's kind of weird. But anyways, the interesting thing is that she goes into the whole universe, history of the universe, and then bringing in the whole biblical tale of fallen angels. And see, the philosophy I have is you should be able to, if you're smart and you have an open mind, you should be able to process whatever anybody says. And there's an element of truth to everything. Even atheists, there's a reason why atheists are atheists. There's a reason why somebody's this, somebody's that. There's a reason why there's evil. So what is the reason? Where's the... And even all of the tales of old mythical beasts. There's a reason. There's tales for those, and maybe they really did exist in the past. Because the tale goes, like back in the days of Atlantis, the scientists made all kinds of monstrosities, and actually Edgar Casey said that they made monstrosities, and so maybe they were doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Maybe they did make minotaurs. Let's be crazy this week. Let's make a half horse, half human. Ha. So, but anyways, yeah, she. Oops, got sidetracked. So yeah, she talks about the whole history of the universe. And and so there's definitely a beginning, like why are we so obsessed with vampires? Why do we have vampire movies coming out all the time? Why do we have evil alien movies coming out all the time? Maybe there are. So anyways, let me get going on the history of what she says. Now, she says universe. It's very, very old. Scientists say our universe is 13 billion years old. The Mayan calendar says it's... Actually, I think the scientists said at first it was 13, and now they're saying, maybe 14, and the Mayan calendar says it's 16. But maybe that's this universe. Because, the scientists know that there's also the multiverse, and you can't date that. She said 950 billion years ago. I guess the God races who made our race, or our universe, started our universe, or something like that. Now, I think I will mention, though, right at this point, that if you watch Anna Hayes's, all those videos, it will definitely be lost on normal people, and to the point that they might think that she's totally, completely wacky, insane, and maybe even think that I'm crazy for even wanting to talk about it. It's just out there stuff. There's lots of background information, that you might want to know, like the whole structure of the soul, and God's creating us. It's like, well, yeah, but God made us, like God, big G God. But maybe there are little G God, not little G God as in aliens, but little G God as in, the local God or something. It's totally spirit, doesn't need a spaceship to move around or whatever. God created us. With the energy of God that they use. So we're all children of God, big G God, the one God, the universal life force, source is what she calls it. The structure of the soul is like you have oversouls and souls. So, and I think that's not a very advanced concept. The whole concept of oversouls and souls. You'd have like soul brothers, soul family, soulmates, where, you have your tribe, and then, like back in the days when we all believed in reincarnation, you die and Grandpa would die, he'd be like, oh, Grandpa will be reborn, and my son or whatever. And so the souls get recycled, and you have like a soul family. So then you go to the other side, and then, like what Eastern religions think, they give alms to their passed on relatives because they're watching over them. Well, maybe in a way they are watching over them, and together they actually create like one soul. And maybe those one soul of all the different multiple people can reincarnate as a human being, as a highly advanced one person. So there can be a person walking around who's a conglomeration of lots of people, whose soul is made up of lots of people.